Hello everyone and welcome back. I have a story to share with you about chamomile hot chocolate. As the weather gets colder and the holidays arrive, I thought this would be a perfect time to tell this story. Fundamentally, this is about challenging the status quo, being creative, working with what you have, and not being wasteful. Now let's dive into it. And so here is how the story unfolds. I had a craving and taste for hot chocolate. And so I was going to make myself some hot chocolate, and I asked my partner, Jelena, if she wanted hot chocolate as well. She was like, no, I would like some tea. So I made myself hot chocolate and Jelena chamomile tea. But if you've ever had hot chocolate, you know the irresistible allure that it has. And so it was sitting there hot and silky, smooth and warm. And so Jelena just wanted a sip of the hot chocolate. She had a sip, and that's where the story unfolds. She wanted some as well. And in my head, I was like, okay. I have tea already brewed. I don't want to just throw it out. I guess I could. It's economically makes no difference. Or I could just set it to the side and have it another time. And she saw this perplexed look on my face of inflexibility, really. And was like, just make the hot chocolate with the chamomile tea. Excuse me? Hot chocolate and chamomile tea, that's not in the recipe book in my head. No. And she's like, yeah, just do that. And I was like, are you sure? And so I moved forward with this astounding thing of making hot chocolate with chamomile tea. And as you have it, I made it, I tasted it, and I have to tell you, it's extremely complex, wonderful, and an elevated version of traditional hot chocolate. And that blew my mind. So why am I telling you this? Well, at first I was weary of doing this at all. Quite frankly, my brain couldn't wrap my head around it. And like I said before, I could just make some more water, pour that tea out, or set it aside, drink it later, what have you, and make it the way I've always made it, either with hot water or with milk. Not with chamomile tea. That just does not compute in my head. And I was weary of doing that at all. And if I hadn't done that, we wouldn't have discovered this decadently delicious, new, elevated method of making hot chocolate. So often we get caught up in how things should or ought to be, that we forget to try new things and experiment with new methods of doing things. Or when we do, we get punished, yelled at, or shamed for it. While it may be a silly example, it's still an example nonetheless. Don't forget to try new, seemingly weird or unusual things. This is the root of what it means to be creative. When you have scraps all around the house, take those and make do with what you can. You can create something wonderful with those, I promise you. Sometimes it might be absolutely awful. But sometimes you might create something more magical or astonishing than you ever would have. It might not be traditional or the most efficient, but it is something new. It's something creative. And that is wonderful. And there's one last thing I want to leave you with. The lesson that I pulled from this, and the lesson I want to give to you underlying everything, is there's more than one way to do things. For me, in my head, there's a regular method to make hot chocolate using hot milk or hot water. That's it. And so when I was suggested to use chamomile tea to make hot chocolate, it was laughable. My brain short-circuited and was like, that's not a possibility. But why not? Who's to say, right? And so whether it's chopping vegetables or making hot chocolate, there's more than one way to do things. So I encourage you, when you see others doing things a way that you're not doing it, watch them, see what happens. Maybe they want to learn from you, but maybe you can learn from their new way. And when it comes to you having the opportunity to do something new, a way that you haven't done it before, whether it's because you don't have the resources, or whether it's because you just thought of this weird thing, give it a try. What's the worst that can happen? Now let's dive into making some chamomile hot chocolate together. Time to make some chamomile hot chocolate. We need a few things first. Chamomile tea, a cup, hot cocoa in some way, and hot water. Let's dive into it. First, we're gonna take our hot water and we're gonna pour it into our cup and brew some chamomile tea. Once you pour the hot water to make your tea, you have to let it steep first, and the next thing we're gonna be getting into is our hot cocoa. Once the tea is brewed, we're gonna pour this inside, give it a nice stir, add some whipped cream, and we're done. You can use anything you want, whether it's chocolate, your favorite powdery mix, whatever you want, it all will work. Now that the tea has finished steeping, if you haven't known already, you can reuse tea bags or even tea leaves if you have loose leaf 2 to 3 times. So this is a great moment to make yourself a second cup, or for me, make a cup for a partner or a friend, family member, whatever. It's the holidays, it's a great time to make more than one cup with the same tea. Now it's time to use whatever hot chocolate mix you have, open it up, and just pour it right in there. Give it a stir. Now, let's get a little bit fancy at the end. If you have it, take some whipped cream, add it right to the top, and it's the holiday season, add a little bit of cinnamon on there. And voila! Chamomile tea, hot chocolate. Go give it a try.